Hey everybody, we're talking about the U.S. border pigs today, and it's a do-it-yourself U.S. border pigs video. And so let's begin. Not all officials, first of all, not all officials at the border are pigs. I just haven't run into any who are not. There could be some that are not pigs, but I haven't run into any. PIG is an acronym. It stands for persons in government who intend to perjure their oath. The pigs in the Congress and the legislature have listed border guards as a peace officer to give them plausible deniability. This procedure takes away their plausible deniability. The objective is to get them to the point that they're saying, get out of here, okay? If they say, get out of here, don't ask them what they said. Don't ask them if they want you to leave. Don't ask them anything. Leave, okay? Go on your way, okay? That's all you need to do. Once they say get out of here, and sometimes they don't say it very loud, and I've had them say it to me. They'll say get out of here, and that means leave. And don't ask questions. Don't debate it. Don't do nothing but get the heck out of there. Okay, so that's what this stuff is for. Is to get them to the point that they're saying, get out of here. 99.999% of the time, crossing a border has absolutely nothing to do with keeping the peace, okay? All border guards operate in their official capacity as a peace officer or in their private capacity to collect revenue. Many of these LEOs are low intelligence thugs. They deliberately screen them out. They want low intelligence thugs. These are some ideas about how to deal with the LEOs at the border, and some things not to do. Every situation is different, and there's no guaranteed way to do anything. First of all, you have to understand who these LEOs are, okay? And to start things off, the United States has not had a treasury since 1921, and that's found at 41 Stat 214, page 66654. Look it up. The United States Department of the Treasury is now the International Monetary Fund. Look it up. This is a FOIA request that I did with the Department of Homeland Security, and you notice how Department of Homeland Security at the top is a subsidiary of the United States Secret Service. Okay? Well, think about that. Okay? This is the Department of Homeland Security is a subsidiary of the United States Secret Service. That means that the Department of Homeland Security and all its subsidiaries, okay, is a subsidiary of the United States Secret Service. That means TSA, FEMA, Customs, Immigration. I mean, that's all part of the United States Secret Service. The United States Secret Service is a subsidiary of the Treasury Department. And the Treasury Department is a subsidiary of the International Monetary Fund. And as a side note, the IRS is an agency of the International Monetary Fund. And that can be found at Diversified Metal Products versus IRS. Look it up, okay? Do a search on the internet. You can pull up these documents and read it for yourself. I've done it. And this is about the Secret Service. Started out as the SS in the Nazis, okay? And it stands for Knights of the Holy See. Cetus Sacrorum, okay? Which is what the Secret Service is all about, people. It was started by Archbishop Cardinal Pacelli, the superior father of the Jesuits. The first leader was Himmler, and it was headquartered in Berlin, and in 1945 it was moved to Washington, D.C. Okay? The current leader is the director of the Secret Service, and the Nazi SS, also known as SS, a shortened name for the Knights of the Holy See, is a Roman Catholic spiritual and military order first formed in 1933, based completely on the Jesuit order structure upon the signing of the Sacred Reich Concordat. And we're going to see about some of the things that are in the Concordat specifically through the applications of Article 1, 12, 15, 21, and 33, with the enaction of Clause C of the Sacred Supplement of the Concordat between France on behalf of Nazi Germany and Cardinal Pacelli. Anyways, so this is on the internet. You can look it up, oneevil.org. Social Security number is the United Nations account number. That's who these people are, okay? This is the United Nations. United Nations, through the International Monetary Fund, issues Social Security numbers. The Department of the Treasury, which is the IMF, issues the SS5, not the Social Security Administration. The new SS5 forms do not state who or what publishes them. The earlier SS5 forms state that they are Department of the Treasury forms. All Social Security checks come directly from the IMF and the UN, and it says it on the front of the check. Well, think about it. Any check says Department of the Treasury on it, okay, which is the International Monetary Fund and the UN. Isn't it amazing how all these terror alerts start coming out when there are DHS funding bills before Congress? Isn't that an amazing thing? That is just an amazing thing. Woohoo! Boy, that's just amazing. Some people are saying that the United Nations is going to invade. Well, hello, people. Wake up. They have already. They're here. So, we'll talk a little bit about low intelligence LEOs. Okay, they screen out intelligent people in the hiring process for their LEOs. Jordan versus City of New London is a perfect example. Robert Jordan had a master's degree and scored too high on their test. He was too intelligent. Okay, I know several people who are not hired for these kinds of positions because they scored too high on their test. This case actually went to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, case number 99-9188. Look it up. This is taken from ABC News, September 8, 2000. So there's probably more since then, I'm sure. Court okays barring high IQs for cops. And this is New London, Connecticut, ABC News. A man whose bid to become a police officer was rejected after he scored too high on an intelligence test has lost his appeal in his federal lawsuit against the city. So basically, the clerks masquerading as judges in the Second Court of Appeals said that, well, it's not a good idea, but they can't do that. Okay? Read it for yourself. Satanists in America. There's a guy by the name of Mark Passio who's a former Satanist priest, and he is a pretty smart guy. He had to take Latin in high school. And so anyways, he has some natural law videos. He's got a YouTube channel called What on Earth is Happening. I highly recommend you watch some of his videos. He's very intelligent, got some very interesting things to say. Talks about the pillars of Satanism, and one of them is moral relativism, which means there's no absolute right or wrong. Truth is relative. Gee, that sounds like a court case. Okay, it's what we decide today, and tomorrow it's going to be something different. And he says that 2/3 of people believe in moral relativism. In fact, he says that 2/3 of people in America are practicing Satanists. And I think he's being generous. I think it's more like about 90%. Okay? And when you see it on the national news every night. You see Satanism. Okay? When they're trying to justify the cops murdering people on TV. I mean, the news media, Fox, I don't care what news channel, it's full of Satanism. And you got to go and watch his channel, okay, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Satanism is about lies. It's about order followers. It's about half-truths and falsehoods. That's all Satanism, and you see it on TV. The news media is bought and paid for. It's all Satanism. Pillars of Satanism, forms of mind control, order followers. Another pillar of Satanism is order followers. They're responsible for all of the atrocities in history. Well, think about it. I mean, all of these, the Nazis, in Vietnam, okay, they killed off a couple million people. There's all sorts of, there's probably 100 million people in the 1900s that were killed by governments, and those are all done by order followers. And it's also interesting to note that when the Soviet Union collapsed, it's because the order followers says we're not going to do that anymore, and that's when they collapsed. Okay, so the order followers need to understand who they are and what a lawful command is and what is not a lawful command. Order followers just follow orders without thinking about whether it's a lawful order or not. They're willing slaves. This is Mark Passio's YouTube channel. I highly recommend it. He's got a great video on order followers. He says they're cowards, and I agree. They go in packs. You know, that's the only way they can do anything is in packs. And that's, I mean, look and see what's happening. Okay, I mean, it's all over the place. This is Article 10 of the Concordat of 1933. Let's go back to this one here. Article 10. Okay, so that Articles 1, 12, 15, 21, and 33, it doesn't even talk about Article 10. Okay, I was just curious about that. This is Article 10 of the Concordat of 1933. Anyone who's wearing a military uniform is an agent of the Vatican. The wearing of clerical dress or religious habit on the part of layfolk is liable to the same penalty on the part of the state as the misuse of military uniform. Okay, so this is all martial law. Okay, this is military law. The Vatican operates exclusively under that. The governments are all owned and operated by the Vatican. And the evidence is all these military uniforms. That's one of the pieces of evidence. There's all sorts of other pieces of evidence. Almost all so-called governments are bankrupt and owned and operated by the Vatican. At common law, a sheriff would have a star only. At common law, a judge would have a business suit. At common law, there's no uniform. You see these whores on the bench with their black robes, these black robe whores, okay? That's all Vatican. That's a military uniform. The World War II war crimes tribunals, all of the Nazis claimed they were just following orders. Well, gee, that sounds like they were Satanists. They either suffered death by hanging or spent the rest of their life in jail. Some of them are still hunted to this day. The Vietnam War, the My Lai massacre, they were all convicted of murder. Today, order followers are everywhere. All U.S. citizens have to carry a passport. This is in the federal, on their DHS website. And that creates a presumption that you're a U.S. citizen if you have a passport. So do not ever, ever, ever give the U.S. border pigs a passport. I have gone across the border without a passport. I know other people have done the same thing. They harass you. But again, the stuff that we're going to talk about is going to defeat all that. It's going to make it so they're telling you, get out of here. Okay? And when they say that, don't ask questions, just leave. This is the Border Pigs website, and it says here under air travel, all U.S. citizens, including children, must present a passport to secure travel document when entering the United States by air. Well, you know, actually, I've been overseas and didn't have a passport, and it was a hassle. But when I started threatening to sue them, then all of a sudden it was no problem. It's amazing how that works. And they're saying land and sea travel beginning January 31st. The United States will end the practice of accepting oral declarations of citizens at the border. Well, yes, they want a picture ID, okay? Get your own picture ID made up, okay? Do not use a passport. It's a good idea to put both hands on the top of the steering wheel when these border pigs stop you. Be polite, but do not give them anything unless you absolutely have to, and even under protest. My daughter was on a grand jury for about a year, and she told me it's amazing how many times the police would ask somebody, "Is that marijuana?" and they'd say yes. You know, if they're talking to you, that they ask you a question, you don't answer it, okay? And we'll go through what to say. Everything they're looking for is hearsay evidence. You got to understand that. First of all, they need you to give the evidence because hearsay is not admissible in court, and unless you introduce it, it's not admissible in their kangaroo court, and their courts are all kangaroo courts. And if you can, record the event. A date of birth is hearsay. Do you remember the day you were given birth? I don't. And if you can remember it, Wow, you're way better than I am. Your name is hearsay. How do you know what your name is? Somebody told you. Gee, that sounds like hearsay. Your picture is hearsay. It's an image. All images are hearsay. How do you know that's me? Do you have any witnesses that that's me? I neither admit nor deny anything. Okay? That you got to memorize that phrase. I neither admit nor deny anything. The burden's on you to prove your case. Your driver's license is hearsay. How does anybody know that you didn't make that up at home? Again, it's all hearsay. The burden's on you to prove your case. A computer entry is hearsay. How does anybody know that hackers didn't hack that computer system? A vehicle registration is hearsay. Vehicle insurance. Do not give evidence against yourself. I cannot say that enough. If you do not give evidence against yourself, they have nothing. They have no witnesses. All of this hearsay evidence, they need witnesses. And if you're the witness, then that's their golden parachute. Tell them, okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about what you're going to talk to them about. Okay? Tell them you have no problem providing whatever they want, but you have a couple questions first. And ask them, is there a breach of the peace? And they'll say no. Ask them if they have a court order. And they'll say no. And since there's no breach of the peace and you do not have a court order, then just so I understand what's going on here, you're not operating in your official capacity as a peace officer. You're operating in your private capacity to collect revenue. Is that correct? And he probably won't answer that one. But you notice he's starting to get uncomfortable. Do you have any evidence that I'm carrying passengers or property for hire? He should say no. Do you have any evidence that I'm one of your duty-paying units? He should say no. Since you're operating in your private capacity as a revenue officer, you have that uniform on, then you're impersonating a peace officer, and that's a felony. Tell them everything they're looking for is hearsay evidence and inadmissible evidence in a court of law. And the burden's on you, Mr. Code Enforcer, to prove your case. And I don't have to give you anything. Get your boss out here. Maybe I should be placing you under arrest for impersonating a peace officer. This is Title 18, United States Code, Section 913. Whoever falsely represents himself to be an officer, agent, or employee of the United States and in such assumed character arrests or detains any person or in any manner searches the person's buildings or other property of any person shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. So, it's a felony. Because of the communists in Congress, everybody's required to have papers, so get an alternative common law identification card. The National Standards Enforcement Agency is a great place to do that, and they have a very good one. I use it all the time. The Department of Travel also has another good one. Their website seems to go up and down from time to time, and so, they have a good one. There's no doubt about it, but you may not be able to go to that website. But I've never had a problem with the National Standards Enforcement Agency. There are common law identification cards available in Canada and other countries as well. And so, again, get yourself a common law identification card. There's no such thing as a driver's license. If they want your driver's license, this is what you tell them. This court has held that there's no such license known to Texas law as a driver's license. We've held there's no such license as a driver's license known to our law. There's 4 cases here that talk about it. I'm not even going to talk about them all because the reason I'm bringing this issue up is because it's not Texas law. It's United States law. It's power of law. It's fictitious. It applies to U.S. citizen slave corporations. They always ask for your driver's license. They may not ask for registration insurance, but they want your ID, and never give it to them. Am I under arrest? You are being detained. The courts have ruled that if I'm not free to go, then I'm arrested. Am I free to go? And I choose to remain silent. I want my lawyer. The burden's on you, Mr. Code Enforcer, to prove your case, and I don't have to give you anything. And but then they're probably going to be telling you, get out of here. Go into questions about the peace officer previously mentioned. Probably you won't even have to go through all this stuff, because when you start bringing up about them being impersonating a peace officer and all that, they're probably going to be telling you, get out of here. If you're not free to go, then you're arrested. Any restraint, however slight, upon another's liberty to come and go as one please constitutes an arrest. An illegal arrest is an assault and battery. The person so attempted to be restrained of his liberty has the same right to use force in defending himself as he would in repelling any other assault and battery. Okay, so that's the argument, isn't it? Where's your authority to arrest me? You assaulted me. I want your boss out here. You have no authority to arrest me. And the reason for the initial detention, speeding, and running a red light are not a breach of the peace. Okay, so those kinds of things are not a breach of the peace. If there's no breach of the peace, and you have to understand what a breach of the peace is, a breach of the peace is an assault, it's kidnapping, it's disturbing the peace. They're the ones that are doing it. Okay, they're the ones that are breaching the peace. I know people who drive to the border and park their car or take a bus, and then they walk across the border and take their bags with them, and the border pigs say next to nothing to them. I know people who have gone to foreign countries like Russia. They send a fax to the local embassy that says, I am traveling to your country and I'll arrive on this date and leave on this date. Please send me a letter acknowledging this. And they will fax back a letter or snail mail a letter, depending on what you ask for. And when they get to the border, they present the letter, and the guard doesn't even ask for a passport. And the text of the letter could say something like this, okay? I'm traveling to Moscow, Russia on 25th December 2016. I expect to be traveling back on the 5th of January 2017. Please send me a letter acknowledging this. Do not declare anything, okay? When you're flying on an airline, they give you this declaration. Do not fill it out. Do not give it to them. Throw it in garbage, okay? What they'll do is they'll fill it out, I'll tell you. But do not sign anything. Do not give them a passport. You tell them when you're talking to them, I am declaring nothing. Do not give them a passport or a driver's license. If you absolutely have to, give them a certificate of live birth and a common law identification card. I've told the U.S. border pigs that I'm a Texas citizen, but not a U.S. citizen. And the U.S. border pig says, we don't recognize state citizenship. Well, that's good. I can be on my way. Ye are the father of the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there's no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he's a liar and the father of it. These people are Satanists. But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. They're all going to hell. And I am going to do everything I can to make sure they get there. That's why I do this, because I want to be blameless for the blood and sins of this generation. And the Satanists are everywhere, and they are going to deserve every bit of what's coming. By which also he went and preached to the spirits in prison, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. They're going to hell. Isaiah 24. Okay, hell is spirit prison. At the bottom line is never, ever, ever give up. These Satanists will scream and yell and jump up and down, but at the end of the day, it depends on how much of a Satanist they want to be. At the end of the day, once they say, get out of here and don't ask questions, leave. It behooves every man who values liberty of conscience for himself to resist invasions of it in the case of others, or their case may, by change of circumstances, become his own. If you love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or arms. Crouch down, lick the hands which feed you. May your chains set lightly upon you, and may our posterity forget that you are ever our countrymen. And that's Samuel Adams. My stepfather, one time he told me, he says, I love being a subject of the queen. Well, he wants to be a slave. Is what he does. Okay, he's dead now, and so he's probably getting his just reward. When shall it be said in any country of the world, my poor are happy, neither ignorance or distress is to be found among them. My jails are empty of prisoners, my streets of beggars, the aged are not in want. The tax is not oppressive, the rational world is my friend, because I am free of its happiness. When these things can be said, then may that country boast of its constitution and government. Well, I got to tell you that we have absolutely nothing to boast about. These people, these Satanists, have seized control of the government. The jails are bulging at the seams. There's beggars everywhere you turn. And it's everywhere. Okay, these people are Satanists. We have nothing to brag about. It's about time the people woke up and put a stop to this. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, the people be not warned. If the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hands. And that's why I am doing this, because I want to be blameless on Judgment Day, and I hope that you who are listening to this are also blameless. And but it takes some action on your part. And you either, A, need to do your best to tell people about it. Maybe you can come up with some successes when dealing with the border pigs. Make a video. Send me the video. I'll add it to my playlist. I'll be happy to. And but bottom line is either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And you are now a watchman. Circulate this video far and wide. Make up your own. Get the buzz going. Other videos, Gangster Thieves 1, 2, and 3, Christianity series, Do-It-Yourself Kangaroo Courts, Bar Members 1, 2, and 3, Unidroit, Martial Laws Here, Do-It-Yourself Traffic Stop, Facto Courts, all courts are ecclesiastical courts, Do-It-Yourself Toll Roads, and Jurisdiction. These are other videos. I've got over 200 videos uploaded, and I would recommend you watch at least the ones for the last couple of years. I've got some playlists, and so you can watch the playlists, because you'll learn something about what's happening and how it's happening. Upcoming videos is Canada Border Pigs, U.S. Border Pigs, which is this one actually, and habeas corpus. I'm also going to do a video on how not to be drafted. Or how not to register for the selected service, and also estoppel certificates. I didn't put those down here, but those ones are coming as well. And so those are some upcoming videos, and I highly encourage you to every week I'm uploading a video. I'm getting down to a routine. So every week on Friday at noon I upload a video, and so I highly encourage you to be watching for my videos, and subscribe. If you subscribe to my channel, then you will be notified about my upcoming videos, about my videos when they're published. Top of these documents can be found in my private group at Yahoo called Administrating-Your-Public-Servants. I have YouTube videos that are videos of private information shares that show these and other court citations that are available for a donation. Donations to support this work are appreciated. I prefer gold or silver coin, but as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept IOUs, Federal Reserve notes, PayPal, gift check, money orders, etc. Send me an email for particulars. And that last paragraph is for all the Satanist revenue officers that think that I'm accepting some privilege or benefit. You can take your privileges and benefits and put them up your rectal orifice. That's what I told a judge too, by the way, just for golly gee whizzes. And he was real nice to me after that. If you find this useful, then you need to pay it forward. And if you don't know what pay it forward means, watch the movie. Okay. My blog is sovereigntyinternational.wordpress.com. My website, sovereigntyinternational.fyi. My email is engineerwin@yahoo. A YouTube profile, Sovereign Living. Facebook community page called Sovereignty International. A private group called Sovereignty International. I've got a Yahoo private group called Administrating-Your-Public-Servants and a Google private group with the same name. And the Yahoo group has got a excellent files section and a links. There are files directory and a links directory. And so the big files are kept on the Google group with links to them in the Yahoo group. And so I would encourage you to to check them out. Everything you need is available for free on my groups. Okay, everything you need to assert yourself. Now, if you want me to get involved, I'm available for a donation. But everything you need is available for free on my groups. And but you have to understand that we got ourselves into this, okay? And part of getting ourselves out of it is understanding how it happened, what happened, and changing our behavior. Because that's what has to happen. If we want to be truly free, we have to change our behavior. We are a slave because of the behavior that we currently have, and we need to change our behavior. And that's the bottom line. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. I hope you get something out of it, and don't forget to spread it far and wide. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a real great day.